Hello students, myself Rahul Eggare. Today we will be discussing about the next chapter in the class 9th biology, that is biological diversity. Okay, so we'll write the title, that is biological diversity. Sorry. So this is the next chapter, that is biological diversity. Okay, so before going towards the chapter, let's discuss about the what is meant by biodiversity or the biological diversity, right? So biological diversity, see, when the word comes the diversity, okay, what it comes with the differences. Okay, when we look after the differences among the living beings, okay, such differences can be referred as the diverse group or diversity, and when it is associated with the living organism, then it is referred as the biological diversity. Now let's define the biological diversity and then understand about it. Okay, so we'll first of all write down the definition of the biodiversity. So what will be the definition of biodiversity? It is the occurrence of diverse or varied forms of living organisms of or living beings, you can write living beings, okay, which are different from each other, which are different or which differ from each other, okay. How they differ from each other, let's see example, that is in external appearance, in external appearance, then some may also show the differences in the size, color, then the internal structures, then we have nutrition, then behavior, and habitat. So this can be defined as the biodiversity. What is it? That is, it is the occurrence of diverse or varied form of living being which differ from each other. Okay, in what manners? In the external appearance. See, when we look after different types of living organism, if we look after our surrounding, it is been formed by different types of living organisms. Let's take example, there are plants, animals are there, okay, then we have microorganisms are also there. So different category of microorganisms are also been found. So which may include the parasites or which may include the saprophytes, right? So here we see the external appearance that is different from each other. We cannot say the plants they are looking exactly similar to the animals, right? So there is a difference. They cannot show the locomotion, we can locomote, or we can show the movement by changing a position from one place to another place. Okay, so that is a characteristic feature of an animal, right? Then plants. In plants also we see quite differences within the different species of the plants. Like if we take an example, some plants are tall, okay, some plants are dwarf, some are seasonal plants which are referred as the crop yielding plants. Okay, so these are the seasonal crops which are been taken into particular seasons only. So that is a difference within the plants itself. Again, apart from that, in case of animals, we see the differences in the external appearance. What is that difference? Like humans are not similar to the four-legged animals, right? We are not walking look like a lion or tiger or lion cannot walk like humans, right? So why? Because their body structure is different, right? That is external appearance. Again, in case of these animals, we can make a difference. Like uh, they have a tail and we don't have a tail, because our body has been developed, so it doesn't require tail. Okay, and four-legged animals, as their body, okay, has adapted to have a tail, as they are maintaining their body balance with the help of tail, right? So that is the external appearance. Again, if we talk about some other animals like marine animals, marine animals means what? The animals which are found in the marine water. Okay, if we take an example, shark, then whale is there, dolphins, or different types of fishes are there. These fishes, okay, they are different from the animals which are found on the land, that is terrestrial animals. Then some animals, they are adapted to fly. Examples, birds. Okay, so these birds, they have a kind of modification. Okay, their tooth are modified into beak. Okay, four limbs are modified into wings, and hind limbs are hind limbs. So there is a kind of morphological difference, that is external appearance. Okay, now apart from that, size is another characteristic feature which also differs the living organisms. As I told you about plant, that is, some are tall, some are dwarf. So that is a different, basic difference. Then apart from this, if we talk about the cell or the living organism, they have a different types of organization. Some of the cells or some of the living organism, they have cellular level of organization, that is body organization. Some have the tissue level of body organization. Some have organ level of organization and organ system level of organization. So here, according to that, we can also classify the living organism. If we talk about the cellular level of organization, cellular level means the body of the organism is made up of a single cell or group of cell, but they are not working coordinated. Means they are working independently. If we take an example of the one of the animal, or that is been under kingdom Animalia, called phylum Porifera, the sponges. Okay, sponges are having the cellular level of organization, and whether they are also referred as the animals. Okay, if we talk about some other, some may have the tissue level of organization and some may have the organ system level of organization also. So that is how we can differ them into sizes. Okay, so some are having cellular level organization, some form tissue, organ and organ system. In humans or other higher animal, we can see the organ system is there. It is not a single cell. Okay, if you talk about bacteria or amoeba, they are single celled cells or the single celled organisms which are not seen by the naked eye. For their observation, we require the microscope. Okay, the next, so the size varies, that is from micrometers to the few centimeters or the meter also. Then color is another characteristic feature which can make a biological diversity. How? See, we see the peoples. Let's take a simple example of humans. In human, we see the different coat color. Our body colors are different. Like some are black, some are brown, and some are fair. Okay, that is due to the melanin present in them, and that is nothing but a kind of differentiation. Okay, that can be seen in the humans. In case of some other animals also, we can see the color. Okay, if we take an example of monkeys. Okay, monkeys and langur, these are two different species. Okay, so monkeys, they have red or white or fair color of the face, while langurs, they are having a black colored face, right? But those both are located referred as monkeys only. So that is one of the example in the color again. Then in the case of plants also, we see the green color plants are there. Okay, sometimes the plants may also have different types of colors. Okay, on the leaves or the flowers, as it is on the basis of the pigment they have. Then internal structures of the living organism are also different. Okay, if we talk about the respiration, in respiration what we see, respiration it is done with the help of the nose or the respiratory organs, that is called lungs. In case of some other animals, gills are found. Okay, so they are responsible for respiration, they are helping in the exchange of gases. Okay, then their organs are also different. In case of fishes or amphibians, we see the structure of heart, it is also different. Okay, different means uh, normally the heart which is found in the vertebrates or in the humans is the 4-chambered heart, but in case of fishes, okay, it is 2-chambered heart, or it may be in case of amphibians it may be 3-chambered, or in some reptile it is, means most of the reptiles it has the 3-chambered heart. Okay, that is internal difference. So such differences are also being considered under biological diversity. The next is the nutrition. Okay, how we can differentiate the living organism on the basis of nutrition? See, in nature there are 3 different basic mode of nutrition. One is called as the autotrophic mode of nutrition. Second one is called as the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. In third, one more category is there, that is saprophytic mode of nutrition. Okay, so here the autotrophic mode of nutrition is seen in the organisms like plants. Okay, plants have the autotrophic mode of nutrition. Then animals, they have the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Then microorganism, they may possess parasitic or saprophytic. So what is meant by parasitic? Parasites are those which require living host for their nutrition as well as for their multiplication, right? Let's take an example, Plasmodium. You might be familiar with a disease called malaria. It is caused by a parasite called Plasmodium falciparum. So that is a kind of parasite, okay, microorganism which depend upon other organism. It comes under the heterotrophic mode of nutrition again, and saprophytes are those which are depending upon the dead and decaying organic matter. So here we get a clear cut picture of the nutrition, how nutrition can be useful for differentiating the different living organisms. Okay, so on the basis of mode of nutrition we can differentiate it. That can be referred as biological diversity again. Next is the behavior. Okay, now in case of behavior, how to recognize the behavior of living organisms? See, in case of plants we see there are variety of plants are there. Some are trees, some are shrubs, herbs are there. So one of these is referred as the touch me not plant, okay, which is also referred as, scientific name of that is the Mimosa pudica. The touch me not plant, if you touch the leaves of such plant, they will close, they will come closer. That means that is the kind of movement, okay, or kind of behavior of the plant. In case of the wild animals also you can see the different types of behavior. Okay, so different behaviors are according to the situation surrounding them. Like in predation you can say, when a predator is following a prey, at that time the position or the behavior of that particular animal will be different, it will be in aggression. Okay, sometimes we see the animals they are just lazy. Okay, so the different kinds of behavior can be studied. In case of humans also we study different types of behavior. So in case of marine animals also we see different behavior. Okay, that depends. See, some are internal, like hormonal changes due to which the behavior of the animals can be seen differently. Okay, in case of plants also it is due to the hormones only, like there are specific hormones which are responsible for showing such phenomena. You might be seen in the various plants, their leaves get brown and fall from the tree. That is called abscission, and the it is been associated with a compound that is called abscisic acid. Okay, which is a growth, what we say, inhibiting hormone also. So which has been occur within the plants, and due to which leaf get fall. That is also behavior of the plants. Okay, the next, habitat. The most important thing is the habitat where the organisms live. Now different living organisms they are found in the various habitats. Some are adapted to live in the water, some are adapted to live on the land, some are adapted to live on the height, a particular height, or in the air also, okay, and some show the creeping movement to the ground. So different types of habitats are there, okay, or which are associated with the ecosystems also. So we'll understand better this when we'll understand the whole concept of the biological diversity. I hope you are getting this. Now we'll move to the further point, okay. So in biological diversity, what we are going to study is, we are going to study the biological classification, or simply the classification, okay. That is a part of taxonomy. What is classification, we will study about it. Then who has given the contribution in classifying the living organisms, and on what basis the classification of living organism is been done. Then we will look after the artificial system of classification, natural system of classification. Then we will discuss about the nomenclature, okay, that is again the system through which we give a name to the living organism, that is called nomenclature, that is the naming system. It may have the binomial nomenclature and the trinomial nomenclature also, okay. So we will discuss about that. Now let us start with the main point, that is the classification. Now we know that different living organisms are there, okay, and these living organisms are characterized on the basis of external appearance, size, color, internal structures, nutrition, behavior and habitat, right. Now tell me how to define the classification. See, I'll tell you, the classification is a process, or it is a procedure, okay. It is a procedure which is associated with the grouping of living organisms on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities, as well as the inheritance or the inherited characters. So we classify the living organisms into groups and subgroups, okay, on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities. That can be referred as the classification or the biological classification. As it is dealing with the living organism, that is called biology and the biological classification. Now in the biological classification, again we will look after the scientific contribution, okay, which was made by different types of scientists and their method of classifying the living organisms, okay. So the stream or the branch under which classification process is studied is called as the taxonomy. So that is called taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy means it is the branch of biology that deals with identification, classification and nomenclature of living organisms. Okay, so we are going to study about the classification, that is biological classification. Who introduces biological classification? So we are going to discuss about the taxonomy. Okay, so what is taxonomy? That is a branch of biology that deals with the study of identification, classification and nomenclature. And in this part of biological diversity, we are going to discuss about the how we are identifying the living organisms, okay. Then after identification, we have to place them into groups and subgroups, that is called classification. And as we are placing them into particular group, they should have a particular identification, that is by their names, okay. So that is the naming system. So that is studied under taxonomy, and taxonomy was firstly given by the Theophrastus, was also referred as the father of botany, okay. So he was the one who has introduced the taxonomy. Then later it was still modified by the Carolus Linnaeus, okay. So let's discuss about the some key points that we are going to discuss in this chapter. So what we are going to discuss in this chapter is the basis of classification. Basis of classification. So on what basis we are classifying the living organisms, that will be studied under this basis of classification. So there are various parameters under which we are classifying the living organisms, that is the on the basis of their organization, okay, on the basis of their mode of nutrition, mode of reproduction, then mode of respiration. There are different criteria, okay. So on that basis we can classify the living organisms. Then next we are going to discuss about the importance of classification. Okay, so what is the importance of classification? Why it is important to classify the living organism into particular groups, that we will discuss here, and then we will discuss about the nomenclature. What is nomenclature? That is the naming system. Okay, so we will discuss about the nomenclature. So nomenclature means the system in which we provide the names to the living organism, and this nomenclature includes the binomial nomenclature system, and hierarchical level of classification will also be studied after that. Then we are going to discuss about the artificial system of classification. Artificial system of classification. Then we will discuss about the natural system of classification. Okay, that we will be discussing here, artificial and natural system of classification. Then we will go for the classification, that is the biological classification. Basically, biological classification includes the classification of the plants, kingdom Plantae we will discuss. Then we will discuss about the kingdom Animalia in detail. Okay, and with that we will also discuss kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi. So that is we are going to study in this chapter. So we will start with the basis of classification. Okay, so on what basis we are classifying the living organisms or living beings, that we will study here. Okay, see, let's take an historical tour onto the biological diversity or the biological classification to understand the prospect of this biological classification. Okay, we will write down the heading, basis of classification. Basis of classification. Now, in this we will discuss with the historical background. Okay, so before starting with the historical background, let me ask you a question. Why there is a necessity of classification, right? Why there is a necessity of the classification, and why we are classifying the living organisms into different groups? The answer is to understand their nature. Okay, to understand their nature, behavior, in which habitat they live. Okay, and to group or to protect our surrounding. Okay, like how they can be differentiated from humans, that we will study here. Okay, so basis of classification, here we will discuss about the some historical background. Now you can give a heading, historical background. So different scientists has given their contribution. Okay, some are naturalists, some are scientists, some are the father of biology or zoology or some other field. They have been given their contribution to or their method to identify the different living organisms. Okay, so here we will discuss about the first, that is the first classification. Okay, was given by Aristotle. First classification was given by Aristotle during 384 BC, that is before Christ. So, according to him, the living organisms are grouped into two categories, that is the plants and another one is the animals. So, according to Aristotle, living beings are classified into two main categories, that is the plants and the animals. Now, he also further categorized these plants into trees, shrubs and herbs, okay, depending upon their sizes or the external appearance or the physiological factors. So, he classified the living organism into plants and animal on the basis of external appearance. See, in the definition of biodiversity, we have seen the external appearance, right? Similarly, here he used the external appearance as a character to differentiate the living being. Okay. Further, these plants were categorized into the trees, then shrubs and herbs, and it includes all unicellular and multicellular plants. Okay. Now, animals. Why he considered animals? Okay. He considered the animals on the basis of two main properties. That is, the animals, or he classified the animals further on the basis of presence of RBCs within them and absence of RBCs within them. So, the animals with red blood cells, okay, animals with red blood cells, simply called RBCs, okay, are called the anima. Okay, so the organisms or the animals with the RBCs are called anima, and the animals without RBCs are called anima. ENAIMA. Anima. Okay, so here you can see the differences, anima and anima. So how can we consider the animals with the RBCs and without RBCs? Yes, there are. See, when we look after the different types of animals, like invertebrates are there. So the invertebrates, you can see Porifera, phylum Porifera is a division or subdivision of the kingdom Animalia, that don't have the RBCs within them. They don't have the red blood cells. Even when we talk about the mollusk, you know, mollusk like snails, okay, there also there is absence of RBC. They don't have the RBCs, red blood cells, okay, as they don't have the hemoglobin within them. So that's how we can differentiate between the animals with the red blood cell and without red blood cells. So the animals with red blood cells are referred as the anima, and the animals without, animals with the red blood cells are called anima, and animals without red blood cells are called anima. So that is how Aristotle has given the first classification system. And you know, Aristotle is also been referred as father of biology and zoology. Okay, so he is referred as the father of biology and zoology. Next, another classification system was given by Linnaeus, that is Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, you can pause the video and write down this. So another classification was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, that is second. We'll write down the number 2, and the name of the scientist is the Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, Carolus Linnaeus in the year 1735. In the year 1735 was given, or he was the one who has given the two kingdom classification system. Okay, so he also put the living organisms into two main categories, that is, he classified into two main kingdoms, that is the kingdom Plantae and kingdom Animalia. Okay, now on what basis he has classified this? He also classified the kingdom Plantae and Animalia on the basis of external appearance or the morphological characters. But there was an exception to this classification system, that is the euglenoid. sorry, that was the euglenoid. See, euglenoids are those which are having chloroplasts similar to the plant cell, okay, so that they can perform the photosynthesis, but they also carry a kind of what we say characteristic property that is called absence of cell wall, which is seen in the animals, right. So in animals we see there is the absence of cell wall, and in plants we see there is the presence of chloroplast. So it is an exception to the this two kingdom classification system, because it does not add all the living organisms into it, okay. So this was another approach of classification. Another classification system is also there, that is called three kingdom system of classification. Three kingdom system of classification. So the three kingdom system of classification, okay, it was given by Ernst Haeckel, okay, given by Ernst Haeckel, okay. So this classification system includes three different kingdoms, okay. Previously we have only plantae and animals or animalia, but in this type of classification system we have three different types of kingdoms, that is kingdom protista, then kingdom plantae, and kingdom animalia. So what he added into this kingdom, the new kingdom, that is kingdom protista, it consists of all unicellular prokaryotes and eukaryotes. See, eukaryote and prokaryote, we know the basic difference between eukaryote and prokaryote. What is that? The organisms which do not have well developed or well organized cellular components, those cells are referred as the prokaryotes, and the eukaryotes are exactly opposite to this, that is the cells which are having well developed cellular organization, okay. So he put all the unicellular eukaryote and prokaryotes into the single kingdom, okay. That was the basic characteristic of this kingdom, three kingdom system. So it may, you can write here prokaryotes, then eukaryotes, and etc. means unicellular, okay. These are not simply, it is unicellular prokaryote and unicellular eukaryote. So here which are involved in the protista. Then apart from that we have plantae, under which different plants are involved. Then kingdom animalia, okay. So this was a three kingdom classification system which was proposed by Ernst Haeckel, okay. Now let's discuss some more. So apart from this we have one more classification system, that is the four kingdom classification system. So apart from this we have the another classification system, that is the number four kingdom classification system. So what is included under this four kingdom classification system and how it is different from the last different types of classification systems, as it was been given by a scientist called Copeland. It was given by Copeland in 1956, okay. It was given by Copeland in 1956. So this system of classification includes four different kingdoms, that is this Copeland has added one more kingdom to the classification, that is already we were having the kingdom Protista, which was including all unicellular eukaryotes and the prokaryotes. Then we had the Plantae, which include all unicellular and multicellular plants. Then we were having the kingdom Animalia. Now here the Copeland has been differentiated the prokaryotes from the eukaryotes. So he put all the prokaryotes into a single kingdom called kingdom Monera. Okay, so kingdom Monera was the one in which there was addition of all the prokaryotic cells. Okay, so here you can write all prokaryotes. In Protista you can add unicellular eukaryotes. Then, because as one more kingdom was to be found later, so other unicellular eukaryotes like fungi are also there, some are filamentous, which were also been included under this Protista itself. Then Plantae, this consists of different types of plant. Okay. Then Animalia, again in animals vertebrates, invertebrates are there. Okay, different classes of animals can be studied. So this was the 4 kingdom classification system. Apart from this 4 kingdom classification, there was one more classification system which was been proposed by R.H. Whittaker. Okay, so R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969 proposed Phi Kingdom classification system. Let's discuss about it. So the fifth, that is the 5 kingdom classification. So Phi Kingdom classification system was proposed by R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. So what he have proposed? He have proposed the living, or he distributed the living organisms or the living beings into 5 main kingdoms. Okay, on the basis of certain criteria. And what was that criteria? He used the criteria that was the complexity of cell, whether the cells are unicellular, whether the cells are multicellular. Okay, then whether the cell is eukaryotic or prokaryotic. Okay, whether they can synthesize their own food material, that is mode of nutrition, or they depend upon other organisms for their nutrition. Okay, that is autotrophic or heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So this was the criteria which was being used by Whittaker. Okay, so he concluded there are 5 different kingdoms. And what are these 5 different kingdoms? Let's see here. So the first kingdom is kingdom Monera. Second kingdom is the kingdom Protista. Third kingdom is the kingdom Fungi. Then fourth kingdom is the kingdom Plantae. And the last, that is the 5th kingdom, kingdom Animalia. Okay, so these are the 5 different kingdoms which was given by Whittaker, that is R.H. Whittaker in 1969. Now, kingdom Monera. Under kingdom Monera, he put all the bacteria. Okay, that is all the prokaryotes. You can write here all prokaryotes, or simply that which are unicellular, you can write unicellular prokaryotes. Okay, so it will be clear to understand. Then in kingdom Protista, he included all unicellular eukaryotes. Okay, so some eukaryotes are there which are unicellular, like protozoans are there. Okay, then kingdom Fungi, it was newly added kingdom, and on what basis he added the kingdom Fungi is on the basis of their mode of nutrition. Okay, fungi most probably they possess the saprophytic mode of nutrition because they depend upon dead and decaying organic matter. Okay, so they have been differentiated from the Protista. Okay, so here these are the saprophytes. You can write the saprophytes. Then kingdom Plantae. Again we have to discuss about kingdom Plantae in detail. We will discuss about all the different types of or different classes of the classes of this kingdom. Okay, in detail after this. So kingdom Plantae. Okay, in kingdom Plantae all plants are there, and in kingdom Animalia all the animals including vertebrates, invertebrates. Okay, so that is how Whittaker has given the 5 kingdom system of classification. Okay, another system of classification is also there. We will discuss about it in the next part.